What's up, gamers? Get hyped because today we're diving into something everyone loves, free games. That's right, in this video, we're counting down the top 10 absolutely free PC games that are set to drop in 2025. Who doesn't love a killer game that doesn't cost a dime? We're talking about some seriously exciting titles across all sorts of genres, from action-packed adventures to strategy masterpieces, and everything in between. You might be surprised at the quality and the sheer fun you can have without spending a single penny. So, buckle up, grab your favorite snack, and get ready to add some awesome new titles to your wishlist because these are the top 10 free games coming to PC in 2025 that you absolutely won't want to miss. Let's get started. Buckle up, because taking the top spot on our list of free games dropping in 2025 is a shooter that's about to flip the script on everything you thought you knew. Frag Punk. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Another hero shooter? But hold up, because this one's got a seriously wild card up its sleeve. Literally. Imagine this. You jump into a match, and then BM. You get a random set of cards that everyone in the game can pick from, and these cards completely change the rules of engagement. We're talking about stuff that can alter the entire map, like making it rain to cover your sneaky footsteps, or turning the floor into a giant ice rink where everyone's sliding around like it's a figure skating competition gone wrong. But it gets even crazier. Some of these cards mess with the core mechanics. Headshots? We can make everyone's heads massive, turning them into easy targets, or shrink them down to the size of a pea for a real challenge. The game even has this Beetlejuice Y vibe where the rules are constantly shifting. We're talking gravity getting turned upside down. The whole world can flip. Frag Punk has so much potential to deliver truly unpredictable and chaotic matches. And the best part? It already dropped on March 6th, 2025, and it's absolutely free to play on PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. So, if you're looking for a fresh, free-to-play shooter that's guaranteed to keep you on your toes, Frag Punk might just be the game you've been waiting for. Go check it out. So 2025 is shaping up to be huge for free-to-play anime games. And here's another one that's caught my eye. Neverness to Everness. This game throws you into a seriously cool supernatural urban open world that's just crawling with weird anomalies. Your main gig is keeping the city safe, but when you're not out there kicking monster butt, you're actually living your life in the city. That's right, Neverness to Everness isn't just about the action, it's a whole lifestyle game. We're talking management elements and a massive focus on self-expression through deep customization. You can really make your mark in this world. You know what I thought was a really neat touch? I saw that the NPCs will actually look for shelter when it starts raining. Little details like that really sell these kinds of games for me. Plus, Neverness to Everness is just a fun name to say. And the best part is, you'll be able to check it out on PS5, Xbox Series, PC, and even mobile later this year. Definitely one to keep on your radar if you're into free anime adventures. Next, here's another exciting free-to-play title on the horizon for 2025, Soulframe. Coming from the talented folks over at Digital Extremes, the same minds behind the hugely popular Warframe, this one's shaping up to be a third-person fantasy action RPG. It sounds like they're taking some of the deep crafting systems that Warframe is known for and blending them with the kind of skill trees you'd expect from a more traditional RPG. The story revolves around battling a spreading corruption across a world that's divided into two distinct areas, a wide-open overworld and a mysterious underworld city that features procedurally generated dungeons. So it should offer a lot of replayability. Combat in Soulframe is mainly focused on getting up close and personal with melee attacks. But they're also throwing in some ranged options like magic and even God of War-style throwable weapons that magically return to you. Plus, for those who prefer a more stealthy approach, there's a system in place to silently take down enemies. While the full version of Soulframe isn't expected to launch this year, they are planning to release a smaller, introductory experience called Preludes, which should give players a taste of what's to come. Sounds pretty promising. The next position on the list is Project Ethos. Keep an eye on the name, though, as it might change closer to launch. This one's shaping up to be a pretty unique blend of genres, described as a hero shooter, an extraction shooter, and even a roguelike. Let me break that down a bit. Each character will have their own special abilities, but it sounds like the core gameplay is still firmly rooted in solid shooting mechanics. What's really interesting is the idea of persistent matches. You'll drop into games that are already in progress with other players who might have a gear advantage on you at first. But here's the twist. After about 10 minutes, new players can drop in, potentially shifting the power balance and making you the one with the upgraded loot. The environment is PvP, so you'll have to watch out for both other players and AI enemies roaming around. The goal is likely to survive and extract with valuable gear, hopefully after taking down some opponents, both human and AI. Project Ethos is slated to release on PS5, Xbox Series, and PC sometime in the near future. This one definitely sounds like it could offer a fresh and dynamic experience in the hero shooter space.
Abilities and weapons, since you're forced to face your opponents head-on with very little play space. The sniper character Prism is incredibly strong, and her primary beam weapon melts opponents quickly in close range, and her sniper rifle allows her to deal devastating damage from a distance. Pairing that with her E ability, where she throws up a prism field.
We've got Skate. This arcade-style skateboarding game has been in the works for quite a while, and it's exciting to finally have confirmation that it was set to drop in early 2025. We've already gotten a peek at a pretty deep character creation tool and some cool skateboard customization options. Since this is planned as a live service game that'll be supported for years to come, what we saw at launch was just the beginning of what's in store. It sounds like they're aiming to build a really robust and evolving experience. The trick system is interesting. It sounds like it's going for a more realistic feel by having you use the controller buttons to mimic the actual foot movements you'd make on a skateboard. They're also planning on having these spontaneous events pop up around the city to help players connect and compete with each other. There's even a story mode in the works, although the developers are keeping the details under wraps for now. The great news for everyone is that Skate was slated to release not only on PS5, Xbox Series, and PC, but also on the older generation consoles, PS4 and Xbox One, so no one with those systems should feel left out. Next up is Splitgate 2. For those who remember the original Splitgate, the first-person shooter that gave us those awesome teleportation abilities, the developers are back with a full-on sequel. The best way to describe this game? Imagine if Halo and Portal had a baby. That pretty much sums up the core idea here. The original Splitgate had a real arcade feel to it, and it sounds like they're keeping that spirit alive in the sequel. However, they're also putting a much bigger emphasis on strategy this time around. Think using those portals not just for quick escapes, but for some serious tactical plays, flanking enemies, setting up ambushes, and really outsmarting your opponents with clever portal placements. The main game mode is going to be 4v4, but they've also teased that more modes will be announced down the line. Plus, the game is getting a visual overhaul with an updated art style, which they're probably hoping will help sell a bunch of those cosmetic items. Splitgate 2 definitely has the potential to be a huge hit, especially if they give it the support it needs, something the original game, unfortunately, didn't quite get. You can look forward to Splitgate 2 dropping on PS5, PS4, Xbox consoles, and PC sometime this year. This could be a really fun and strategic shooter to keep an eye on. Next up we have Delta Force, which is aiming to land on pretty much every platform except the Nintendo Switch in 2025. This one's being touted as a tactical shooter with its sights set squarely on taking on the giants of the genre, Call of Duty and Battlefield. And honestly, the way it sounds, it might have a real shot at shaking things up, especially for Battlefield. In the main mode, you'll be stepping into the boots of a single soldier amidst a massive warzone. Depending on the scale of the match, you'll potentially have access to military vehicles like helicopters and tanks to fight for control of different areas, pushing forward on the attack and holding your ground on defense as the battle unfolds. The characters you play as are part of different Delta Force classes, each with their own unique gear loadouts. These classes will have strengths in certain areas while being weaker in others, which will really dictate your role and how you contribute in each match. Beyond the large-scale warfare, Delta Force is also including an extraction mode where teams of 3 players will venture into a dangerous zone to snag some loot and then try to make it out alive. And just recently, they even announced a PvE raid mode, which sounds like it could be a lot of fun. They were planning to kick off testing for mobile and consoles back in January, with the hope of leading to a full official release later in the year, or at the very least, an open beta across all the announced platforms. It sounds like Delta Force is coming in hot with a lot to offer fans of tactical shooters. If you were hooked by the Arcane series on Netflix, then you'll be excited to hear that Jinx and her crew are set to appear in 2XGO this year. This is a 2v2 fighting game where you and a friend each pick a character and battle it out together, taking turns in the fight. And if you don't have a buddy handy, the game also has a solo mode. The controls in 2XGO are similar to what you'd expect from games in the genre, with light, medium, and heavy attacks, along with unique special moves for each character. Riot Games is aiming for this to be as serious as sport, so they're designing the gameplay to reward thoughtful strategy and tactics rather than just mashing buttons. This involves building up combos and knowing exactly when to tag in your teammate to keep the pressure on your opponents. To help out newcomers, the game includes an auto-combo feature that simplifies the move inputs for each character. This should make it easier for new players, like the person writing this, to jump in and actually have a fighting chance against more experienced players, making each round feel competitive. You can look forward to 2XGO hitting PS5, Xbox Series, and PC sometime in 2025. This could be a really interesting take on the fighting game genre with that tag team dynamic and the Arcane connection. They were planning to kick off testing for mobile and consoles back in January, with the hope of leading to a full official release later in the year, or at the very least, an open beta across all the announced platforms. It sounds like Delta Force is coming in hot with a lot to offer fans of tactical shooters.
Good friend.
Let's check out Arcadegeddon. This one's a third-person shooter with a really cool neon vibe that was set to go free-to-play before April of this year, 2025. The premise is pretty wild. You're on a mission to save your local arcades from some kind of virus outbreak. The gameplay is described as a run-and-gun experience where you blast your way through different biomes, taking down the corruption one bullet, or more like thousands of bullets, at a time. Since it's a roguelite, each time you play, you'll start out with just the bare essentials for weapons and have to scavenge for better loot as you go. The weapons themselves sound like your typical shooter fare, but you'll be able to combine them with elemental upgrades to really exploit enemy weaknesses, which adds a layer of strategy. On top of that, you'll also find power-ups that can give you temporary boosts to things like your speed, the size of your ammo clips, and even the blast radius of your explosions. Arcadegeddon was expected to launch in the first quarter of 2025, so it's possible it's already out and free to play by now. Definitely worth a look if you're into fast-paced, neon-soaked shooting action with roguelite elements.
Okay, see you on the other side, mate.
Bringing us to the final game on our list for today is Midnight Murder Club, a first-person shooter with a seriously unique and creepy twist. In this game, it's pitch black, like absolutely zero visibility, and all you've got is your gun and a flashlight. Now, whether you use that flashlight or not is totally up to you. Sure, it'll help you navigate the darkness, but you're also pretty likely to bump into some stuff along the way. And the second anyone spots your light, they know exactly where you are, which creates this really intense and unsettling atmosphere. But here's where it gets even cooler. The game has positional voice chat. You can actually talk to other players between rooms, and their voices will fade and echo depending on how far away they are. This sounds perfect for giving your teammates a heads up, or even just trying to pinpoint where other players might be lurking. Plus, whenever someone fires their weapon, it briefly lights up the path right back to them. The person who shared this actually played the beta with friends and said they had a blast. Even if it's not a game you play for hours on end, it sounds like an absolutely fantastic and super fun game to jump into with your buddies for an evening. Midnight Murder Club was set to release back in February, so it should be out now. Thanks so much for hanging out with me and checking out this video/article. I really hope you found some titles that you're now hyped to play. If you dug this video/article and found it helpful, make sure to smash that like button, hit subscribe for more awesome content, and let me know down in the comments which game you're looking forward to the most. Happy gaming, everyone, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.